Hi, my name is Christy Benacki, and I'm Assistant Tax Manager at PNC Financial Services Group. I'm here at Bethel Park High School to give a speech for the Career Spotlight Series on accounting. I just want to give you a little bit of background about myself. I born and raised here in Pittsburgh, never left. I graduated from Seton LaSalle High School, and I went to Duquesne University and majored in accounting there. Benefits, just saying about staying local, going to RMU, going to Clarion, staying in Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania. One good thing is when I was at Duquesne, I was able to do some internships. It was nice to be downtown and being able to do some internships. One thing, there's three things I want you guys to come out of this speech is one, especially accounting majors, finance majors. I interview at PNC for internships and full-time hires into our finance department. And the couple things I like to look at on resumes is one, work or school life balance, school, internships, if you guys work jobs during the school year. I think that is one thing in any kind of finance or business field is your ability to be able to work, and have that balance. So that's one thing I want you guys to take out of this. Second thing is social media, is the big thing as of right now, and for how long, and kind of watch what you guys do on social media, because I know as an employer or my employer, there are people that look and when you guys are applying for jobs, even internships, look to see what you guys do on social media. So that's another thing to take out of it. And the last thing is when you are in college, and even here at Bethel Park, brush up on your Excel and your Access skills. Anything if any business career, those two things are one of the main things that we're looking at right now. We are looking to your generation to build databases, to do spreadsheets, kind of take over for some of us older people to do some of that work. So I wanted to start off with the three things that I wanted you guys to take out of this discussion. So, like I said, I went to Seton LaSalle. I went to Duquesne University. Out of Duquesne, I was at BNY Mellon for 2 years in their trust tax department. I like I'm just fast forwarding you guys to a couple years from now when you guys are deciding to do your full-time positions. In accounting, and even in accounting and finance, more in accounting, some of the big, I'll call them big four accounting firms will be after you guys. Also, some of the corporate route, PNC, if you stay in Pittsburgh, PNC, U.S. Steel, PPG, any of those will be looking at you guys to be their future of their departments. For when you want to do more on the, on the big four side, they're going to be looking more for you guys to be doing on the CPA track. I don't know, how many guys know what a CPA is? Very good. Very good. If you do want to, right now in the state of Pennsylvania for the CPA, you have to have, instead of 120 hours in college, you have to have 150 hours in college. So that's like almost an extra year in college you need to be able to sit for the exam. That's different from when I was back in college. So it's kind of most of the states are actually going that route for most accounting majors to have 5 years of school to be able to sit for the exam. So that's a kind of a downfall in this industry, but it's something that most states are doing. So just wanted to let you know that. And then more on the corporate side, which I'm in, and I have to say I've been both public and corporate. I worked 9 years at it's a regional firm downtown called Schneider Downs. I was there for 9 years in their tax department. So I've seen both avenues of it. Doing the public route, I loved it. I love being challenged every day. I did mostly, I don't know if I'll kind of talk, be pretty basic. I did more corporate returns. I prepared corporate returns. I prepared partnership returns, and I also prepared individual returns in the public route. And like I said, I started off as an entry-level staff and worked my way up to actually a reviewer side. So in the public forum, you do more of like the prep side, and then you go more to the review side. And then working with clients, you also, and another thing to take out of this, people skills. You need to be able in the accounting field, you have, even in the public route and in the corporate route, you have clients that you deal with every day. I had clients calling me daily on questions and things like that. You need to be able to speak well, be able to, just be able to be right there on, at the drop of a hat to be able to ask questions and answer questions too. And then more on the corporate route, which I currently am right now. At PNC, I've been in our tax department for I'll be there 5 years in February. The reason why I switched from more of the public route to the corporate route is I have 2 children. My son is in 2nd grade, and my daughter is in kindergarten. They both go to Abraham Lincoln. So once, more, and it's nice to see girls in this room, but I have to say is in the accounting field and in more the corporate route and in the public route, work-life balance is a big thing these days. When I had my son, he's 8, when I was in public accounting, I was able to go to more of a 4-day work week, so I was at 80%. And employers nowadays, especially for working women, are very flexible, and they're much more flexible than they were even like 5 to 10 years ago, so it's a good thing to get into. Right now at PNC, one of the questions was, my work schedule, it's called a 9-10 schedule. I work 9 days, 9-hour days, and then I get every other Friday off. So it's really nice. Majority, I'm probably saying 75% of my department works this schedule. It's a really nice schedule. I know a lot of corporate companies in town do that schedule, so it's just a nice thing. I'm able to take days off, when, it was actually last week when you guys had off Tuesday, Wednesday. I was able to switch some of my days off to be able to be home with the kids while school was out. So that's one thing about, even in the business world, there's a lot of flexibility, different than there were, almost 15 years ago when I came out of school. Some of the things currently at my job, what I do, I'm an assistant tax manager in the corporate tax department. I focus more on federal and state audits, which doesn't sound very exciting, and it sometimes isn't very exciting, but it's a challenging job. When I started at PNC, I was actually in their compliance department, more of what you do in public, prepare returns and review returns. About 2 years ago, in my department, our audits got very, very behind. I'm just telling you guys probably weren't even, no, you guys were born then. I had an audit just closed in the last couple months. It goes back to 2000, so that's 14 years ago, and I'm going through files that are 14 years old, and you guys, some of you, where's my freshman? Were you even born in 2000? Okay, good. So you were maybe 1. So I'm just saying, some of the things that I have to dig into are very old, very cold. Go ahead.
I was wondering, do the students know what an audit is? Okay. Maybe you could explain what it is to be audited.
Okay.
I don't know how many have actually filed
a tax return. Yeah.
So it might be just something.
How many of you have filed your own tax return? Oh, Bethel Park Soccer. How'd you do it? You don't remember? Yep. And you had a W-2 from where you worked and filled that out? Very good. Did you do yours as well? Did you do it in TurboTax? How did you do it? By hand, or did you do it computer? Very good. See? Very good. Very good. Going back to my majors, for the students that are deciding on going accounting, are you looking more on doing, Lori said, do you guys know what an audit is? Okay. I'll tell you, I do more of my position right now. I support both IRS and state audits, which means is the IRS comes into my department, sends us a letter saying, hey, I'm coming in to audit you guys, our tax return that was filed. Right now, currently, we have a 2-year audit for federal purposes. And since PNC, and, you know, if you guys, anywhere you travel, you see PNCs pretty much everywhere nowadays. We file in all 51 states. So that means possibly 51 states can come in and audit us. For a basic, I'm just starting with basic audit is they'll come in, look at the tax return that was filed, here's my notes, and ask questions on some of the information on the tax return. So it could be very straightforward answers, and then some of them, and one of my biggest challenges is to dig deep into some of this stuff from, let's say, year 2000. You can't get, you can't find. So there are challenges to my job. The more current, the reason why my position was actually kind of made was they wanted us to be more current on the audits. And right now, in 2 years, we cleaned up so much information and got so many audits closed. We're now working on audits, and just think, whenever you're in a tax department, you're always like right now it's 2014. Our compliance group just got done filing our 2013 return, so we're always a year behind. So right now we're currently working on audits for tax years 11, 12, and 13. So we're almost 3 years behind, but that's actually current. So it's one of the challenges of my job.
Are you looking to see if someone made a mistake, or?
What it is the actual, the auditors, either federal or state audits, they're asking more questions nowadays. Like, you know, why is this number on the return? How did you get to that number on the tax return? And they are looking for mistakes, which, you know, everyone makes mistakes. No one is perfect. So they are also, they're looking for things that are
off.
Yes, out of line.
Students, you've probably heard of people committing tax fraud, right?
Yes.
Okay, so tax fraud on a personal basis, could you explain what that would be versus like the corporate?
Yeah.
It's not really fraud that you're looking at. It's
Yep.
more like just mistakes,
Yep.
right?
Let me ask Bethel Parks. He has a Bethel Park soccer shirt on. When you were filing your tax return, okay, let's just say you had your form, your W-2 form that you received from your employer with all your information. And let's just say, I'm just giving an example for tax fraud. Let's just say you won are you 18? No. Okay, 18-year-old. Let's just say you worked at the Village, let's just say, what? Okay, you work at American Eagle. We work at American Eagle. You got a W-2 form with how much you made, how much taxes were taken out of your, let's just say you made 50 grand. Let's just say. It's a lot of folding jeans and folding shirts. And let's just say you won the lottery. I guess I read something like someone just won the lottery from a Giant Eagle and they won $1 million. Let's just say that was you last year. Okay. Let's just say that was you. You filed your federal and your Pennsylvania return and your local. No, Bethel Park doesn't. They wouldn't withhold on that. But you filed your return. So all you had on your return was your American Eagle income. You didn't report that $1 million that you won from the Pennsylvania lottery. Okay, let's just say the IRS looks, what's your name?
Brian.
Okay, Brian. They're going through their computer systems. They found Brian's return. Somebody online, they're probably like, okay, this kid works at American Eagle. He made this amount of money. Somebody online probably Googled you, worked for either the IRS or PA, saying, oh man, back in 2014, Brian won $1 million from the Pennsylvania lottery. Where is it on his tax return? That's what people, for IRS and state, they can come back and say, you did not pay us. And we've known, you see it in the on the news, in the industry. People go to jail for that. So that's an example. Thank you, Lori. That's an example of tax evasion, tax fraud. Corporation. Go ahead.
How much of that million would you have to do?
For federal purposes. Okay, I don't do many individual returns anymore. So you're getting. I'm guessing. Don't quote me on this. Probably anywhere between 25 and 30, between 30 and 34%. So the IRS would get, if you won $1 million, they would either get between $250,000 and $300,000 of that. And that's where some of these people, when they get into tax fraud, get in. You see those shows on what, TLC or something like that, like when these people win the lottery and how they get in trouble. That's one of the big things. See? Good question. Very good question. And Pennsylvania, since we all live in Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania would have to withhold, it's like 3.07 is our tax rate. And in Bethel Park, if Bethel Park would hit you for paying local taxes, you would have to pay Bethel Park, I think it's 1.4 or 1. I can't remember what our 1.4? Yep. So yes. So out of that $1 million, you would have to pay probably anywhere between, let's just say 30 to 36% to the government. Okay.
So if you're in the private accounting, like you used to,
Mm-hmm.
that's what you file returns for people
Yes.
and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that in the public forum, I work for a smaller firm, like a smaller regional firm. So we did the business returns for our clients, and then a month later we filed their personal individual returns. And that was always a challenge, filing individual returns. I'm very, very cool to hear that you guys have actually filed your own return. Very, very cool. But they're very challenging. That's why you see a lot of people stressed out around April 15th because you're filing your tax returns.
And if you don't pay enough to the government,
Oh yeah, they come after you.
then you have to.
And I have to say one thing, and this is a challenge in my field right now. As you hear sometimes, federal government, how much debt are we in? How much debt the federal government? You hear all the states. If you read up on anything, Pennsylvania is not balancing their budget. A lot of the states are in dire need of money. So I'm just saying, right now in my field, and even in the tax side of the compliance side, some of these states, like I'll give an example, is California. California is sending out notices for like $2. They're like, you owe us $2 because they're trying. What? You got a notice for $4. See, they're trying. States and federal are trying to find money anywhere. So for them, they send out like $100,000 notices for $2. Some people will pay, some people won't. So and I have to say, the biggest thing I've seen since I've been in, let's just say, I'm dating myself right now. Since I've been in the tax field for almost 15 years, that's the one thing. States and federal are constantly looking for money and will try to get money any way they can. Does anyone else have any more questions? Or let's just say, okay, so let's fast forward a couple years from now for you guys when you're in college. Some of the classes, like I said, for you guys to focus on, more on the accounting, because probably, I'm guessing your freshman and sophomore years in colleges, you're going to be taking more of your core classes, your English, your maths, your elective classes. And then more when you become either junior, sometimes second semester, sophomore year, junior and seniors, when you're going to be focusing in on your actual majors. And like I said at the beginning of the speech that's when you want to, broaden your horizon and build your resume with internships, with clubs, either business clubs or accounting clubs, or even finance clubs within the university or the college you go to. I know, for me personally, when I was at Duquesne, I worked at the mall, every Saturday, just took the trolley and got extra money. That actually was more, when I was actually looking for jobs, people look at that and are like, okay, they can do the time management and go to school, have internships, and have jobs as well. So, like I said, I look for that when I interview.
And I think I remember last year when you spoke, you were talking about grade point average versus the balance on
Yep,
the resume.
yep.
So you have two people
Yeah.
you're looking at.
Yep.
You could talk about what you look for.
I'm just, as an example, a couple Fridays ago, PNC had their big, we call it a super day. we interviewed probably 60 students for internships and 20 students for full-time hires. So those were the seniors that are going to be graduating from college. And then I interviewed, I'm saying, it was like, it's kind of funny. We call it Super Day, but it's like speed dating. I had 9 25-minute interviews all within like a 4-hour span. It's crazy, but we kind of call it speed dating. You'll see that a lot in the corporate world. But going on Lori's point is, I personally, at my job at PNC, I work directly with the trainees, interns. In my position, I'm usually a mentor to them in my department. They usually work with me one-on-one. I assign them projects, and when I'm interviewing somebody, I would rather have somebody that I can talk to and correspond with and have not a relationship, but like, I don't want somebody that when I talk, they just like stare at me like, I have things coming out of my head or something like that. I rather have somebody with a 3.0 average, was able to, either play a sport, work let's just say work at the mall during school, and work some internships. I think that is definitely more, where we're going to today. Yeah, the 4.0 student's nice, but if they can't talk to me, I'm like, I have a pretty strong personality, and it's a struggle for me to work with somebody that I can't talk to. So that's one thing, on your resume, like I said, you're in college. You're looking out for your career. You need to build your resume. And as a person who interviews, especially for internships, when I interviewed I think I interviewed 2 sophomores, and the rest were juniors. And when I'm looking, I rather see somebody with a lot of activities, a lot of balance in their schooling, compared to somebody who has no internships. And that shows me just what kind of person, not what kind of person you're going to be when you get into the working field.
Right. And with the internships, are they generally paid, not paid?
Mostly right now. Most of them are paid. Some of them are not paid when you're young, when you're in more the like freshman, sophomore year. But I know for us personally at PNC, we do pay. We do pay sometimes. We try not to pay overtime, but we do sometimes pay overtime for some of our internships because they're in some very deadline-driven areas. So.
Are they usually in the summertime?
Yes. And for PNC, during either your sophomore or junior year, the internship starts in June. It's a 10-week process, and you're done in August. So, yep. And that's majority within the corporate and public sector of accounting in Pittsburgh. That's usually it's pretty much standard. Anyone?
What questions do you have so far? Go ahead and have some questions. We've got a lot of accounting majors in here.
In your accounting class right now, what do you got? The people in accounting classes, what are you learning right now?
I don't know, Miss B.
Okay, yeah. Okay. And petty cash. Okay. I'm just telling you back. Very good. Back when I was sitting in your shoes, how many? I'm not going to date myself. But when I was sitting where you guys were back in high school, we did the same thing. Like you had the fake checks and that in like the debits, the T accounts and things like that. Yep. Say the charts. And I was just telling you, you'll see that in college. But it is a good thing, to be in high school and take these electives to learn what exactly, that's where, to be honest, if I didn't take that in high school, God knows, my dad's an accountant. He kind of forced me to be an accountant. So, but really that check writing and things like that, it is a great stepping stone to learn accounting. So.
What kind of characteristics do you think that an accountant
Okay.
need?
Sometimes people give accountings are boring people and they have pencil protectors and they're a bunch of dorks and stuff like that. That's one we get a bad rep. I have to say we do get a bad rep. But especially in more of the public field, you need to have when I was in public, I used to go to clients. When I was in public accounting, I did mostly real estate and construction clients. So there was times I had my hard hat on. I have to say, there was one cool thing about that is when they were building that tunnel from, let's just say the trolley when they were building Gateway Center over to Heinz Field. I was able, the one construction client that I worked on, we were able to tour inside there and went underneath the river. So, but the one thing that I guess I was good at, I was able to talk to my clients. You need to have a personality, and that's anything in the business world. Personality, confidence, and I have to say one thing. More and more nowadays, like memo writing skills are a big thing. Because like I know me personally, when I was in school, when I was sitting where you guys are, I was more of a math. I like math. I like science. I hated writing papers. It was awful. I dreaded it. But I look back now and wish I kind of did a little bit better on that because I have to write a lot of memos now to files, to the IRS, to state auditors. So that's one thing. Yep.
What about job outlook, starting salary?
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of times kids always want to know, like, am I going to start making $60,000 when I'm right out of college?
I actually had to ask Kristen and Miss Michaels, Miss Smith sent me this information. I actually asked one of our trainees that I'm working with, Catherine. She said there's right now at PNC, and I think this is industry-wide. My husband works at U.S. Steel, so I asked him too. Right now, starting salary for any finance or accounting in the industry world, and I actually asked my friends in public as well, it's between $50,000 and $55,000. And then right now, if you're going more into, let's just say a 5-10 year route, probably between $70,000 and $75,000.
Now, is that with a bachelor's degree?
That is with a bachelor's degree. CPA will jump you up. Once I know in more of the fields or more of the companies, once you get either your CPA or your master's, they'll give you they'll bump your salary up a little bit. Yep.
Okay, so you can make sometimes
A little bit more.
More than that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But that's a good starting.
It's a very good starting salary nowadays.
55.
Yep.
So, how many of you are going into accounting again? That you know for sure. I know I saw a couple of them that are going into accounting to major into accounting in college.
And the other thing I have to say, one thing, I don't know, Laura, do you have any finance people coming in to speak?
I think we have one.
Okay. And accounting and finance kind of go hand in hand.
Listen up, guys.
Accounting and finance, my husband was a finance major at Duquesne when I was accounting major at Duquesne. He pretty much does the same thing as me. He does more of an accounting job now. They pretty much go hand in hand. Finance majors are more they do more statistics, while accounting majors, I say, are more analytical. So, but right now, they pretty much go hand in hand. So you can interchange.
So when you take courses in college, you take accounting and finance?
Mm-hmm. And I have to say one thing as well, with doing the recruiting and in interviewing, I've seen a lot more in the last I've been doing it 5 years at PNC. Probably in the last 2 years, I've seen more college students doing dual majors. I've seen I interviewed somebody a couple weeks ago. They were an accounting / finance major from the Miami University in Ohio. And they were also doing minors in like supply chain and marketing. So, they're getting the core accounting and finance, but then they're also doing a minor in, if they want to do more of the supply chain route, which is like transportation, or get a minor in marketing. And a lot of people also I see a lot of people doing minors in information systems as well.
You think that gives them an edge?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes.
And do any of you have any specific questions? Because you have someone in front of you that actually does the hiring, right, for internships.
Yeah.
For trainees. And are there any particular schools that you look at, college-wise? Not that we want to say one's better than the other.
That's fine. PNC, since we are basically headquartered right here in Pittsburgh, the core schools, we have 5 core schools that we look at. One is Pitt, one is Penn State, Duquesne, which I actually go up to Duquesne and recruit a lot for. Robert Morris is now is probably going to be our 6th target school. We're beginning more of Robert Morris students. And then also we've been going to Ohio State University in Ohio and Miami University in Ohio as well. Since PNC, I'm dating myself. PNC used to just be in Pittsburgh, and then back in 1998, 1999, they merged with National City, which was a big bank in Cleveland, Ohio. So now most of the employees are in Pittsburgh, but we're branching out to Ohio as well. So that's actually when I got my job, was after the merger. They were looking to bring people into Pittsburgh.
Do you try to hire local?
To be on, and I'm being honest, as I'm looking at, I did interview a girl from Bethel a couple weeks ago. I did. I believe, and this is being videotaped too, but I believe for retention purposes, I personally like hiring people from Pittsburgh. I interviewed a girl. I interviewed a girl from Jeanette. She went to Jeanette High School and she was going to Pitt. I know that they're going to stay around. Their family's here. Their focus is here. They go to school. And another one I interviewed, he actually went to Fox Chapel and he goes to Penn State University. Pretty much in his interview, he said a lot of people want to come home. And your friends are, once you come in for the summers and things, your friends are here as well. So I did interview a couple people. One was from Michigan. One was from New Jersey. We've seen at PNC, and I think this is corporate and public-wide, some people come in, we invest all this time in them during this internship, during this training program, and they do 1 year, and they're like, okay, I want to go to New York City. We don't see that in the actual Pittsburgh students. So, Yep.
So there's a big opportunity if you are interested in accounting and finance with staying in the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah, there's many, PPG, PNC, U.S. Steel, the accounting firms. I'm trying to think, Consul, like even in South Point, there's a lot of big companies there too.
So the 4 to 5 to 6 year outlook on jobs, it's definitely increased.
Yes.
So this is an area where, you have to all think about job outlook whenever you're coming out of college or trade school or whatever it is that you're going to. Are there going to be jobs? Is your investment in your education going to be worth it? And this sounds like this is a profession that has a great starting salary.
Yep.
There's going to be jobs. There's opportunities if you want to stay in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, we're just building a huge headquarters downtown too.
And those are all important things to think about, whether you're going into accounting or any other kind of major, things that you should be thinking about for your career.
I like interviewing and I like hiring the people from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know that they're going to. We've done studies that they stick around more.
So when she says retention, that means you
Yep.
retain your employees, and they're going to stay and be there to.
Yeah, because right now I'm interviewing people that are going to replace me. I'm trying to backfill my position in the jobs that, in 10 years that will, 10, 15 years. So.
Right. Questions, guys? Any questions at all?
Is your job ever really stressful?
Yes. Corporate side, yes. We have for my audit deadlines. Most of what we get for federal and state audits, I get a piece of paper in the mail. Like, we have these 5 questions that you need answers. Most of my deadlines are 30-day deadlines. It's just standard in this field. So, and it all depends on, right now my boss is on vacation, so I'm kind of backfilling things for her while she's out. And there's also days, like right now, it's kind of a slow time. You'll also see, like, around the holidays and any kind of job, a lot of people are planning their vacations. They're going to be out for Christmas, things like that. Right now is kind of a slow time for us, but in January, like even in the public sector, you hear the big deadline you hear is April 15th. Everyone knows about April 15th. But in the public sector, yes. I worked... And like I said, I switched out of the public sector when I had my second child. For a woman and having a husband that worked as well, I didn't think I could do. I personally, right now, I could not be in public.
What would the hours be around? Like when your taxes are due, April is that big deadline she was talking about. So
I was working, even on my reduced schedule, I was off every Friday. I stuck to that, but there were Saturdays and Sundays I was there all day. Yeah. And it's fun, but after April 15th, you pretty much kind of coast till run. There's also big deadlines for March 15th, September 15th, and October 15th as well. So if you like to ski and things like that, like if you like the winter, and be out, yeah, it's kind of hard. It's very busy. But on the and like I said, on the corporate side, we do have our compliance season, but it's managed a little bit differently because on the public sector, you're waiting on your clients to send you information. On the corporate side is your clients are our internal people. And once you have relationships with them, like say you need something in a week, they usually give you. I have to say, in the corporate side, it's easier to manage people because you're all working on the same team. You all work for the same company. So sometimes on the public side, you have your client and it's April 14th, and you still haven't gotten their 1040 information. They expect you to stay overnight and get it done. I've had that happen. Yeah, pretty much bags. And you know what? This is a bad story. Well, it happens, but I did have a client that actually, April 14th, it was a piece of paper, or it was a bag full of their mail. Like there was penny savers in there, Giant Eagle ads, and they expected me to sift through it.
Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.